Frank, are you okay? He says, Kimmy, he says, we were thrown to the floor out of our chairs. He says, I'm trapped on the 87th floor. He says, it's getting difficult to breathe. And he says, you need to promise me every day for the rest of their lives that you tell Zoe and Garrett how much I love them. It didn't register at the time, you know, that he was saying goodbye. And then he hung up, and that was at 9:22 a.m.
It was a beautiful day. There was a big loud explosion, and then as I was leaving the trading floor, the plane hit our building. The right wing sliced right through our trading room. I got knocked flying, debris came down on us, and then we went into the stairwell. Why did I survive when so many of my colleagues didn't? How did I get out when they didn't?
For Kimmy Chedel and Ron DiFrancesco, 9/11 is not only burned in their mind's eye, it's seared in their souls. They can't forget where they were when, but 20 years later, we also wanted to know where they are now.
Every time I think about it, it brings me back into the building, the tower, the stairwell, and what went on.
Ron is said to be the last known survivor of the World Trade Center attack. He escaped through a burning stairwell. It's still a hard story to tell.
The smoke was getting pretty thick and heavy. People were starting to drift off and go to sleep. And that's when I heard a voice and call me, and it was a calm, clear voice, and told me to come this way. So I went towards the thickest smoke and the fire, and I pulled back a sheet of drywall to reveal the staircase below. I slid down there and then ran through 3 flights of stairs that were on fire. And then I ran down.
What was that voice?
So some say it may be God or an angel, and some say it may just be me, you know, my adrenaline. But it was a clear, calm voice. And
Ron doesn't know how he got out. He ended up in hospital, a gash on his head, a broken bone in his back, and burns to most of his body. His contact lenses had melted to his eyes. His wife, Mary, was shocked when she saw him.
I wasn't sure he was going to survive, and I felt incredibly grateful that he was alive, that he got out of the towers, and I promised myself then that I would try to be worthy of the gift of his life.
It would take months to get on his feet. Ron and his family moved back home to Toronto, and while life moved on, Ron says he couldn't.
Mary took the brunt of everything. She took care of the kids, took care of the house, took care of the family. I was blank for a long while, right? I didn't care about anything. I didn't want to hear noises. I was void of life, I guess. I was just existing.
What was that like for you, Mary? Physically, he recovered, but emotionally, he sort of disappeared, and the kids noticed, and they, you know, wondered why he was angry, wondered why he was sad, and it wasn't enough to survive. You know, we had to learn to thrive again, and that was tough.
Focusing on charity work and speaking about mental health has helped.
Everybody struggles with their mental health at some point in time, and what can we do to help make it better for people, for ourselves? And so if I talk about it, I feel a bit better after I do a talk.
What's in all these binders? So these are all cards.
And there has been so much support over the years. Binders bulging with notes of well wishes and tucked away. Ron's watch still encased in dust. It stopped at 9:59 a.m., the moment the South Tower came down.
They're just important reminders of how close we came and how near death Ron was.
But Ron says he still walks a fine line between gratitude and guilt.
I left a lot of colleagues there, right, in the stairwell, so I'll carry that with me forever. Is it a miracle? Is it luck? Am I blessed? I don't know.
What do you think?
I'm blessed. I got 20 more years of life, right? And if I get one more day, it's a bonus. So.
Frank Doyle wasn't as lucky.
He was just a really special, unique person, very loving, very funny, crazy about the kids.
Frank worked on the 87th floor of the South Tower. When I first met his wife, Kimmy Chedel, at Ground Zero, she was clinging to the hope that he was still alive.
I just feel like I gotta find him and I gotta bring him home one way or another.
In my heart, I thought, maybe he came down with the building, maybe they found him, maybe he can't remember, who he was, maybe he didn't have his wallet on him. It was just so devastating. It was like, in my mind, I was trying to convince myself he's gonna come home, he has to come home.
Because you were 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have many memories, or do you have any?
I have a few memories with my dad. Not sure if they're real memories, but it doesn't matter now.
No.
Just the fact that I feel like I did know him and I remember some things.
Kimmy was determined to keep her husband's memory alive for her kids. She left their home in the U.S. and moved back to Quebec to start what would become a lifelong mission.
I think, how did this, little girl from St. Marguerite, Quebec, end up in New York City, falls in love with an American, and he dies in a terrorist attack? Like, I still sometimes kind of take a step back and think, like, is this actually our story? And now my focus has really been Frank's legacy and, what we can do and what we can create in terms of change, and to give back and to live our lives, in a positive way and try to make something positive out of this.
Frank was an avid athlete, so friends and family gathered to hold triathlons in his name every summer. In the last few years, the focus shifted to building preschools in South Africa in his memory, with the help of her children, including Zoe.
When I think about my dad, I don't think about 9/11 and the tragedy and everything, and I think it's because of this team and the support system that we were raised with, and how she decided to raise us and be strong for us and always be so positive, that we're lucky in many ways.
20 years is a long time. Kimmy found love again, but in another devastating blow, lost her partner François 2 years ago to cancer. Kimmy says Africa, the inspiration behind it, has saved her.
This is from June of 2018.
Wow, amazing.
But in each of these tragedies, I realize that when I go to Africa soon after, I feel like I'm gonna be okay. When I go on these trips, it's like I heal faster. I feel like I have a purpose. I'm happier.
I don't know how you do it, but it's been incredible to see how far we've come.
9/11, it made fragments of their lives, but they're still finding light through the pieces that will always be missing. Ioanna, Roumeliotis, CBC News, Toronto.